Hey guys, welcome to a special preview for Sanctum 2. I'm here with Ted from Reverb. We're checking out the game. I'm guessing not a lot of people know about Sanctum 1. Is that right, Ted?
Yeah, it was definitely a cult following, a huge success on Steam, but definitely coming to consoles now and doing the sequel, it's a lot of new people are going to be seeing it. It's going to be a really cool thing because there's not that many games of this style on consoles. I mean, tower defense is very familiar on the PC side.
Is that how you describe the game to someone who's never seen Sanctum before?
Yeah, I would say first and foremost it's a tower defense game, but it's just brings a whole new element by being a first-person shooter perspective. So you really have that familiar aspect of a first-person shooter in a traditional tower defense style game.
What are people gonna do right away when they pick up the game?
Basically, it's a full campaign. So in Sanctum 1, there was 4 levels just to start off with. This is actually a full-on 16-level campaign that you progress through. I think the main thing, though, that people will see from Sanctum 1 to Sanctum 2 is now there's 4 different characters, so you have a lot of strategy with 4-player co-op.
What is it like when we're playing, like, right now when we're offline?
You still play through the same campaign, so it's leveling up your character along the way. There's a full leveling up system where as you progress through the campaign, which you can play by yourself, then you can jump on with your friends and continue right from where you left off. Leveling up your character, unlocking new perks and new towers, new weapons, all these new abilities that really let you customize how you really want to take on each level.
And so the way it works with being a single player, having like somewhat of a narrative in the game, do you just defend specific sections, or do you move a lot, or do you spend a lot of time just in one area?
I think it really depends on the play style. So it's certain players, I think, that are more familiar with first-person shooters will want to be up and in the action. Other people might want to be standing back, jumping up on one of these platforms and kind of just hanging back and taking out the enemies and letting the towers do the work for them.
What is the number one thing you guys are addressing for the sequel?
I think the number one thing is the ramp of difficulty. It was very extreme, almost punishingly extreme even at the first level. So it's really getting that progression so that people can be introduced to a tower defense with this new perspective and get ramped up so that once they get to those later levels that are very hardcore, like in Sanctum 1, they're already prepared for the battle.
Right. See, I think right here, this is about the part where I think I start to get it as someone on the outside, where you start to see, if you've played a game like Field Runners or anything, where you start to see, oh, I'm making a walkway, or I'm closing them in. You start to actually see that it is a tower defense game.
Exactly. And you can always see where you have a little red line that shows the path of the enemies. Also in the top left corner, you have your mini-map, and you can also bring it up more of a traditional kind of tower defense. So I can see where if I place something right here, all of a sudden now that's blocked off and you can see how the enemies are routed.
And when you play co-op, do roles tend to switch? Have you noticed that? Or does everyone kind of play the same? Or is there one guy who's just designated to building and keep maintaining? Or just everyone does the same thing?
It's really based off the player's style. Everybody does have the full building options, so you can just kind of strategize in the build phase however you want together, but then once it comes to the action, each character plays differently. So here's where you have kind of the character selection, which is completely new. So Skye was the original character in Sanctum 1. She's your basic kind of just assault class. She has the power to double jump. Sweet is her sister. She's more of the demolition style class, which has a gigantic rocket launcher, and her ability is she sets targets on fire. And you got Simo, who's the robot sniper class. He has better accuracy and deals more weak spot damage, as a sniper should. And Hagen, who is basically the tanking class. He has a shotgun and has more health.
And can you play, when you do a co-op game, can you play as the same character, or does everyone have to be someone different?
Yeah, you can mix and match however you see fit, just whatever style you are. You're not stuck into a certain role.
So did you just pick a new level, or is this just the progression of the single player of the campaign?
I skipped ahead a little bit. This is one of my favorite levels, because you start to, as you'll see it progress, you'll get paths up in this top corner and paths of enemies coming in this bottom corner.
Yeah.
So you start having to deal with enemies coming from not just one location, but having to deal with multiple locations. And it's really at that point all about how you're going to filter them to really tunnel them in and pigeonhole them into one location,
Right.
so it's easier to manage.
And I'm not seeing like an ammo counter that you're like a pool. It's unlimited ammo, I see.
It is unlimited ammo. You
Okay.
just do have to reload or switch weapons.
Gotcha. What's the penalty for dying?
No penalty for dying other than a respawn timer.
Gotcha.
So you have a 10-second respawn timer, and sometimes at the end of the game when a boss is at your core, 10 seconds ends up being a lot longer than you would think.
And now we're starting to see some much bigger units, I notice.
Yeah. They get bigger and badder. Later on you start getting flying units that don't even follow all the construction that you've built, blocking them. You got healing enemies that will just sit behind a boss and just constantly heal them, so you have to take them out before doing anything else. The other thing that's added from Sanctum 1 to Sanctum 2 is a full aggro system. So where before most enemies would just follow their path, just right to the core, now you can actually kite them around. As long as you're getting the aggro, they'll start concentrating on you more than toward getting to the core.
Right.
So that's very useful in multiplayer, because you can actually have one player that's trying to just do maximum damage to get players away from the core while you're trying to take them out.
And that's why you have a tank character.
Exactly.
Right.
And then, as you'll notice, like, since it is really a traditional tower defense, all these enemies, they just take a lot of damage. So you're not head-shotting any of these guys. They all are pretty much bullet sandwiches. Yeah, actually, every enemy does have a weak spot. You'll see a kind of like little glowing orange element in them, and that's definitely going to be where more damage can be done. So here, I'll show you.
That looks fun.
Yeah, nice little guy. And so from right here, he takes in a lot of beatings, but you shoot him in the butt, and it does definitely a lot more damage.
Yeah.
Except electricity doesn't hurt him.
Hit him in the space anus.
Yes. The Spanus.
So he comes out slowly, but you're still going to have other smaller units come in.
And later on, when you're dealing with these guys, like 2 or 3 of them, while all the little guys are coming at you, it definitely, your time management it's pretty crazy, and that's when you'll know if you didn't set up a good defense leading up to it.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna be doomed.
Well, thank you for showing us the game. I understand it's coming out later this month, correct?
Yes, it'll be out on May 15th. PCN or PSN, Steam, XBLA.
Very cool. Thanks for stopping by, guys.
Yeah,
Really
thanks.
appreciate it. Thanks, man.